So maybe we'll go ahead and maybe I'll move over to Charlie. Charlie, can you talk a little bit about your sort of exam timing schedule and how you went about, purchasing and scheduling the exams?
Yeah, sure. So, I actually, my approach to the exams was originally a joke between myself and my then boss, Nick Surface, who was the exec at the AIS. We were kind of joking around about me taking exams while I was serving my term as president in D.C. And he made a crack about me taking all 7 exams in 7 straight days. And we had a good laugh about it, and the more we talked about it, the more we realized there's a great opportunity to sort of use my position with the AIS to talk about licensure and the process. And so at some point,
and really to show off. I think you have to say you had to really show off a bit.
And to show off, as a bit of an ego. Being president wasn't enough. Yeah, so it kind of started as a joke, and the more people we talked to about it, the more we realized it was actually a really good idea strategically for the organization in terms of our messaging. There were certainly a couple moments where I realized how much pressure I was putting on myself, but I did it. I scheduled, I think it was in January, I scheduled all 7 exams, in March. I scheduled all 7 exams for 7 consecutive days. There was a weekend in the middle, and committed to it. That was about just over 7 weeks out from where I was at. So I basically went from 0 to 60 in a very short amount of time. I had about 7 weeks from the time I started studying to my first test, and similarly, kind of went through a few different variations on how to break down that study time. Yeah, it was a big commitment. The intention all along in sort of making it a public campaign of the organization was really less about how I did on the exams and more about making the commitment to take the exams. This was affiliated with a new scholarship program of the AIS called the Professional Advancement Support Scholarship, which reimburses recent graduates of the AIS if they're able to take and pass an exam within a year of graduating. So again, the message being, don't put it off, get started early. Even if it's just getting past that first exam, that makes it a much less scary and mysterious thing kind of looming on the horizon. Yeah, so that was kind of my origin story with the ARE.
But just to be clear, you were at that point not working a full-time job, is that right?
I was working a full-time job, not with an architect. The AIS position, the officers are full-time employees of the organization. So okay. I was working full-time in association management, which was actually more of a 60 to 80 hour a week job. But no, I was not in a firm and hadn't actually ever worked in in an architecture firm. I'd done an internship with a consulting firm during grad school, but had no experience in setting A as of that point.
So Charlie, then I have a question. So if you took 7 exams in 7 days, talk about how much time you gave yourself to actually prepare for these.
Sure. So so I had, like I said, 7 weeks. For some reason, I just fell in love with the number 7. So I had 7 weeks leading up to the 7 exams in 7 days. Initially, I had intended to kind of do, okay, Sundays are CDS, Mondays are PPP, Tuesdays are, but I realized kind of in the course of preparing for them in such a rapid succession, it kind of illuminated for me how much overlap there is between a lot of the exams. And so that kind of shifted that mentality pretty quickly, and I started going more by, prep format. So more like during the week I'd read study guide, or on my commute I'd read study guides, and then in the evening I'd do practice exams, and on the weekends I'd, watch some videos, things like that, and try to mix it up throughout the week from different sources and different formats to kind of reinforce what I was learning.
Yeah, the overlap is interesting. That's an interesting comment because there really is quite a lot of overlap between the different exams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me then ask Josh, can you talk about your exam timing schedule and how you schedule the exams?
Sure. So I actually started almost immediately within a few months after graduating in 2012. And for the first 5 exams, I actually kind of did the whole 2 to 4 months thing that Jennifer had done as well. But I was finding that I wasn't really studying until about a month out of the exams. And also, kind of with that spacing, I was letting other things in life get in the way, like work stuff and, personal stuff. And plus, the summers here in Chicago are very, very great, and you're easily enticed to go outside instead of study. So, but after that, some other things that happened, and then fast forwarding to this year, I kind of just, once March hit, I just decided I had 3 remaining because I had failed one of the previous ones, that I just wanted to get them all done. So I did once a month. I did one in March, one in April, one in May to finish up. And that actually, it seemed to really work for me, the one per month. And we had a good mix of, I had the Kaplan guides and the flashcards that the office had. So I used those quite a bit. And then some YouTube videos regarding the vignette, and then just practicing the vignette with the NCARB software as well.
Okay, good. That's a nice kind of blend there, with Charlie doing it in 7 days, Josh, you in a month, and then Jen, in the 2 to 4 month range.
I'm disappointed, Josh, that you felt the need to have a private life, that you weren't just willing to devote everything to this, but okay.
It's interesting here. So the results of our poll, we had 40% of the folks, so we had 71% actually vote, and 40% said they're taking an exam every 2 months, 31% say they're taking it once a month, and 30% of the people say they have no schedule, and only 3% of the people are as brave, or about as brave as you, Charlie, taking it once a week. So thanks for everyone for providing a little feedback.
Yeah, that's fascinating, actually.